3 essential tips that you can easily transition from a lash artist to a lash trainer. Stay passionate about what you do so you can inspire a lot more students and a lot more trainers. And another thing that is really important is to have a great relationship with your students.
You're listening to the Full-Time Lash Artist Podcast. If you want to jumpstart your lash career, you can also watch Cosmina's free lash training at www.fulltimelashartist.com. Let's grow.
How to transition from a great lash artist to a lash trainer. Hi, my name is Cosmina. I'm a certified lash artist and also I'm a lash trainer. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 essential tips that you can easily transition from a lash artist to a lash trainer. And I'm going to start with the first one. Master your technique. Of course, you want to be updated with the latest techniques, latest trends, wispy effects, double classic, wet effects, Russian volumes, American volume, because you want to have enough knowledge to share with your students. And I remember back in probably 2020, when I first started my trainings, I was already a lash artist for about 2 years full time. So at that time I said, okay, what's my next transition? My next transition is to be a lash trainer so I can share all the knowledge and I can, give everything to my students. And my dream was always to have my students understand and learn everything that I haven't learned in my past classes. So all the time I'm behind my students. I share them all the knowledge that I know. I teach them how to position their hands, how to stay correctly, how to support their back, like basically everything. Which first day, the way I structure my classes are either 2 or 3 days. And the first day we go all into a lash theory, understanding everything about lashes, what's behind the glue, the chemistry of the glue, how to sterilize, disinfect, like I said, basically absolutely everything in order for them to start in the correct way. Number 2, which is extremely important, have a clear communication with your students. You want to be passionate about teaching, sharing, talking. Of course, it takes practice to talk in front of somebody else, in front of your students, but if you never start, you never go there. For example, you want to learn how to swim but you never jump into the water. That's exactly the same here. If you never start, you never learn and you don't know the feedback from your students. And that's another thing that I suggest to do with your students. At the end of the class, ask them for testimonials. That was one thing that I started since day 1 of my trainings. Testimonials at the end, so you can see their feedback. You can see what's missing, if there is something else that I need to improve, because believe me or not, or you also learn as you go with your students, because everyone is different. Every single student have different type of questions, and from there you can learn with them. And number 3, stay passionate about what you do so you can inspire a lot more students and a lot more trainers. And another thing that is really important is to have a great relationship with your students. You want to be supportive. You want to be behind them all the time. The way I do with my students after we finish the class, I'm always behind them. If they have any type of questions, if they have any problems, if they, need to ask something, I'm going to be number 1 support for them. And I'm going to be their mentor for life, because I remember when I started, and this is something that I've learned from, my own classes. This was something that I wished I had when I started, to have somebody behind me to guide me what to do, to explain me, okay, Cosmina, because there are things that you're never going to, you're never going to see them before you practice. When you start and jump into a practice, that's when you're going to understand the problem. That's when you're going to understand the retention. That's where you're going to understand different type of eyes, different type of, styles. Because as a lash trainer, I can share everything in the class with my students, but if they don't see that on a real person, they don't visualize in their head like clear. So that's why it's very important to practice on a real client so you can learn a lot more. So once you practice, that's when you're going to have a lot more questions, and you need to have somebody that supports you all the time. Now don't go anywhere, because I'm going to play another video right here, and below send me a DM with Lash Pro, and I'm going to give you access to one of my mini lash fundamental course.
If you got a passion for lashes, let me see it. It's time to level up. If you need me to, I'll teach you my 6-figure secret. Better believe it, cause I believe in you. You're listening to the Full-Time Lash Artist Podcast. If you want to jumpstart your lash career, you can also watch Cosmi's free lash training at www.fulltimelashartist.com. Let's grow.